Hey everybody, it's just after 6 o'clock, and as you know, we're perpetually late. But it's what's this? Wednesday. It's Wednesday, just after 6 o'clock, and this is AEW Weekly. Usually we come at you Tuesdays at 7 p.m., but I already told you things in October would be moved around a bit, so sorry we keep moving around. Uh, Hopefully in November things will be back to normal, back to Tuesdays at 7. But nonetheless, here we are. Yay, Dylan. There's Dylan saying yo from the Long Island Wrestling Podcast. And he is one you should check out also. Good stuff going on with Dylan.
Have you introduced us and yourself?
Oh, I haven't introduced us yet. So this is Steven. What's up, man? And this is No Bones About Wrestling. And I think I said the show, AEW Weekly. I'm Asa. This is my co-hostess with the mostest, Kay Fabulous.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we saw Beetlejuice 2, and I slept through it twice this week.
That's not. I mean, you had a head injury. That has nothing to do with the movie. The movie is very good. If you haven't seen it, I really enjoyed it both times.
I slept through it twice. So I'm going to try and see it again. So no spoilers, I guess.
They spoiled Beetlejuice.
Yeah, don't spoil Beetlejuice. So I don't know. I know how you'd spoil it. It has to have an ending, right? So
maybe not. You don't know. You've never made it to the end.
I'm sure it has some ending. Every movie has some ending. So yeah, what happened today? Mick Foley put out his. This has nothing to do with AEW, but it was wrestling. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, Steven. So Kay said it was pretty good. So I hope it's good.
I liked it.
I saw like 2 minutes of it in the theaters, and then I was asleep. Nothing against the movie. I was just tired. But yeah, so this has nothing to do with wrestling. But Mick Foley put out his video today, which after our show, I would urge you to go and watch. His video where he rails against Donald Trump, but not just really, not his politics, just about him being an asshole, really, more than anything. Talking about the many contractors that he has gone without paying and ruining their companies, which that same thing, and not Donald Trump, but a rich fucker did that to my father, where he did the work and then wasn't paid, and then couldn't afford lawyers to go against the rich fucker. So instead, he just didn't get paid, and his company was destroyed. So I don't really have a lot of patience for people like that. So yeah, again, just think about that, And I don't usually get political in here, and it's not something I make a habit of. But I'll just this election, the presidential election, isn't about Democrats or Republicans. It's about character. So when you're going to the polls, think about the character of the person. Would you trust them? Would you trust them with your money? Would you trust them to watch your dog?
That's what I was going to say. It's always the best test.
If you couldn't trust somebody to watch your dog for 3 days, do you want them to lead the country? So just think before you vote. Whatever you do, think. Think hard. Okay. So we're going to talk about wrestling. So AEW Dynamite. So we got the TV recaps. Do we have fashion?
We are going to have fashion.
We're going to have fashion. Steven says all politicians are corrupt. I think a lot. I don't believe that.
Varying degrees, I would say.
Varying degrees. I think some are not, but I think a lot, unfortunately, are. Here in the U.S., I couldn't speak about other countries. If you take all the countries into together, then I think all politicians are corrupt. Well, not all. Most politicians are corrupt would be true. Yeah, if you take all the countries into accounting, but our system doesn't seem to be quite as bad as some countries. Some countries, the politicians have all the power and money. Here, they just have like 99% of it. So, anyways, don't get me started. Maybe there'll be a AEW Weekly election podcast. We'll call it something else. I'll wear a hood. I'll be a masked, faceless individual, a black hood.
This is getting weirder and weirder.
So no one will know who I am, and I'll disguise my voice.
You're great at that. With your various accents that you're so skilled
But I
at.
won't go low, I'll go high. And then I'll talk about politics like this.
Oh, I actually brought home our ballots today.
Oh, yeah, ballots. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I got to remember to do it with like a pencil or something.
Oh, no, it's a sample one for us to bring to the polling place.
I went out for an absentee ballot this year, because they're saying, there's likely to be violence at the polling places on election day, so that's fun. So I'm not going near them on election day. I mean, the FBI and Homeland Security said that. So, anyways, I filled out an absentee ballot, but I used a pen that was so like dark that it went through to the other side. So like all my votes went through on the first side, but it looked like I was voting for people I wasn't on the back side, and it just made like crazy marks for no reason.
How cheap is our government that they can't print the ballots on paper that doesn't bleed through?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty terrible. So I guess I gotta use like a number 2 pencil or something. I don't know.
They give you pens to use at the actual.
Oh, the actual places.
Place, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take a number 2 pencil.
It's because we use fancy pens.
Fancy pens?
Fancy
oh, here
yeah,
we use fancy pens. Yeah.
Anyway, back to wrestling.
Yeah. So AEW Dynamite. I lost some viewers. I think they got sick of the politics talk, but it's my show, so I don't give a fuck. Talk about what I want to talk about. AEW Dynamite, October 14th, San Jose, California. Good show. AEW, I think, has been on with some exceptions, has been on quite a roll of very good shows lately. And we had a tag team match start off the show. We had FTR take on Big Bill, former one half of the tag team champions, and of course FTR, former tag champs. So FTR versus Big Bill and Brian Keith of the Learning Tree. And pretty good match. Big Bill and Brian Keith made a good team, I thought. Better team than I thought Big Bill and Ricky Starks were when they were the World Tag Team Champions. I like Brian Keith. I think he has some potential, and I think we haven't seen enough of him yet. But yeah, good match. FTR eventually they hit the Shatter Machine on Brian Keith, and he takes the pinfall. So FTR win the match. Like I said, good tag match. 4 bones out of 5. And just talking about the Learning Tree real quick, Big Bill and Brian Keith for weeks now have been under Chris Jericho's branches. Well, actually, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that a little later. Okay. Talk about Jericho and the Learning Tree in just a little bit here. And of course, tonight, as I said, we're going to talk about the television matches, going to do our top 5s, going to have Kay's fashion segment, and a couple other things tonight. All right, up next on Dynamite, we had an AEW TBS title match. Mercedes Moné returning to regular television, and she took on Queen Aminata, who got a title shot for some reason.
Because they talk smack to each other backstage.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, it's wrestling. That's all it takes, I guess, really. But good match here. Aminata looked a little out of her league against Monet, I think. Steven says, Mercedes. Yeah, I know a lot of people are not liking her AEW run so far. I know that.
It's just not interesting. Like, it's nothing against her. Like, what's interesting about her story right now?
Well, she's just a heel. I mean, it's just simple. She's a heel. She's like a cocky heel. And you want to see her get her comeuppance. It doesn't have to be complicated.
I think it needs to be a little more complicated.
I don't. I think wrestling is usually the best when you keep it simple.
Well, no, I mean, I think, like, not for everyone does it need to be more complicated, but for this, like, big star you're paying an assload of money to.
Yeah.
Like, you would think they would make her part of a more interesting story than just, I'm stuck up and rich,
I think it may come as we see her on TV more. It's hard to include her in stories when she's wrestling here and there. Like she's wrestling in New Japan at an event they're having in California soon. And I'm not sure where else she wrestles, if she does wrestle anywhere else, but I know she's still wrestling from New Japan some.
Well, makes sense. She has her belt.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. The New Japan Women's Strong belt. Steven saying Camille wrestling the Queen tonight.
Yeah.
I assume he's referring to Queen Aminata and not Mercedes Moné.
Why would she be the Queen?
Well, she's a champion.
Oh. I thought you were going a Queen of England route, and I was like, she's dead.
No. Who gives a fuck about the Queen of England?
Well, she's dead anyway. An easy win.
Yeah, she's dead. I think Steven, are you from England? I thought he was from England. Am I right?
No, you're thinking of Will.
He's from England.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. Well, Steven, you're welcome to know. You're welcome to let us know where you're from too. So TBS title match. Mercedes got the win. Pretty good match. Mississippi, awesome. Welcome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was pretty sure it was the South.
Yeah. I thought so. And Mercedes beat Aminata with a submission to what used to be called the Banks Statement in that other company, and now it's called the Statement Maker. Which to me, I don't know, it sounds like a dinner in a box type thing, doesn't it?
No, it does not.
Or like a beer tagline.
The Statement
The
Maker?
Statement Maker.
I could see
It sounds
that.
like some sort of advertising.
I could see it as like the tagline
Yeah.
for like a makeup brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like an advertising tagline, whatever it's
Maybelline,
for.
whatever it's called.
Statement Maker.
Statement Maker. I was like, Staple Maker? That doesn't sound right.
So, Monet gets the win, stays undefeated, and keeps her belt. And I've enjoyed her matches for the most part, but as Kay says, yeah, I think if you're going to pay her all this money that she's supposedly gotten paid, I think you expect some more. You should expect some more involvement out of her, and I think that'll come.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be really surprised if she continues to be used as sparsely as she has been.
Well, this was also one of the best matches we've seen her in, if not the best, I think. Did you not feel that way? What'd you give it? Bones?
4 bones out of 5, so it's a pretty good match. Yeah, I call it one of her best, but then I thought all of her matches have been pretty good.
Is this the one I yelled at you for? One women's match, I think this week you gave 4 instead of 4.5, and I was like super mad.
Was that last week's show, maybe?
No.
Oh, okay. Steven said, oh, yeah. I know. I was going to talk about that. Steven says hologram announced on social media that he's going to be out for a couple of weeks due to injury. Yeah. I meant to bring that up at the top of the show. Yeah, hologram, you know, if you watch the show or listen to us a lot, you know, he's my boy. And he is amazing. He's undefeated. He's really moving his way up in the world at AEW. And now he suffered an injury at the pay-per-view to the Beast Mortos. I'm not sure exactly what kind of injury. I haven't heard that yet. But yeah, he's going to be out for a bit. But what I read is he's expected to be back before Full Gear, AEW's next pay-per-view in November. So I hope that's true. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Steven.
Well, they wrote him off television, so I was wondering why that was happening, but that makes sense now.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Who was beating him up? I forget.
LFI.
It was LFI? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, poor hologram. You know, but he'll be back kicking ass, I'm sure. Hopefully he didn't injure, you know, his leg or something like that, because that could, you know, can really affect his offense. But as I said, it seems to be kind of a minor injury, because I've just read that he'll be back in, you know, like 4 to 5 weeks or something like that. So hopefully that's correct. But hologram, if you're watching us, get well soon. Up next, we had a pretty good match. We had a trios match. It was between the Elite, part of the Elite at least, World Tag Team Champion Young Bucks and Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada, and they teamed up to take on part of the conglomeration in former 2-time international champ Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero. And we had a pretty good match going until eventually John Moxley and his goons, whatever they're called now, they came in and attacked both teams pretty much just send a message to AEW, as they said. They're not quite doing an NWO angle, but they're definitely positioning themselves as outsiders and saying that they're taking over and things like that. So the match was ruled a no contest, no winner. And AEW will do that sometimes, but they don't even announce on television that it's a no contest.
So their Goon Squad, they're just the BCC. Remember they came out as
I
the
think that's
BCC?
what they've been calling it.
Yeah. Well, they hadn't been, but then this week was the first time they acknowledged them that they're still going by the BCC. I think.
Just wait 1 second. Fuck things up.
Okay.
Keep talking, please.
All right. So it's not in the fashion do's and don'ts, but I have a T-shirt to talk about. Is that okay?
Okay.
So I think it was maybe from behind the stage or behind the scenes at Wrestle Dream. Not Wrestle Dream. What was the last one? Yeah, Wrestle Dream.
Wrestle Dream.
When Mercedes and Camille were talking to Queen Aminata, Camille has a new T-shirt on Shop AEW, and it just says "Not Approachable" in giant letters across her tits, and I love it.
Yeah.
I want it so badly. I have a friendly face, and so strangers talk to me all the time, and I'm too nice to be fuck off, and so it would just be really nice to have a shirt that says that for me.
No one talks to me.
That's because you're not approachable.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm nice once you talk to me.
Yeah, you just don't need the shirt that says "not approachable" because your face says it.
Yeah. Pretty much, which is nice. Especially if you work retail.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to talk to people much, they'll go find someone else, with a smile on their face or something.
Did you see Stevens?
Let me see. Steven says it ought to be called Bastard Combat Club.
I like it.
Maybe so. And here Steven says, yesterday Adam Cole did an interview with Sports Illustrated. Yeah, that he's officially broken up with Britt Baker. Yeah, that came out. That's a shame. But
I think when one partner comes out being we broke up, if the other partner doesn't come out and being that's not true, then I think it's probably pretty safe to.
Did she say they broken up?
Oh, you told me that. Oh no, you just said rumor was.
Yeah, no, it was rumor.
Take it back.
That's the first official. I mean, not that it's any of our business, anyone's business, but they put it out in the public, so there he has at least. So yeah, they're broken up.
It's our business. They made a show called All Access where that was 90% about their relationship.
I guess that's a good point. They made it everyone's business. Yeah. Adam Cole in that same interview today said that they used in repairing his ankle, which was I think he said exploded or something like that, some word like that. Disintegrated is what he said. He had to have 2 ankle surgeries, and in the second one, they used a cadaver bone to repair his ankle, and people were like shocked at it. But I had back surgery years ago, and they put a cadaver bone near my spine so that it encourages new bone growth, which is really weird. But I'm bringing that up because I saw someone fantasy book it, and they said they should book it. This was on X today. I don't know who it was, or I would credit them, but they said they should have Adam Cole be a face, but he goes to kick people and it won't let him kick heels, and then he'll turn around and kick other faces, and then it turns out that his cadaver bone came from some dead heel wrestler or something like that. His foot's turning on him.
This is my horror movie idea, remember?
No.
Oh my gosh, yes you do. So a person is haunted by their either transplanted organ or the cadaver bone. You don't remember this? I told it to my entire 8th grade last year because Ray, the language arts teacher, also had a horror movie idea, and his sucked and mine was awesome. And so we have a big rivalry. So we made them vote, and mine won. But it was yeah, so you get he has a cadaver tooth or something in his mouth.
Who?
Ray.
Oh, okay.
And so I was yeah, so that haunts you and possesses you and controls you, but you don't realize it's happening because you're unaware because you're being possessed, But you're being possessed by the spirit of whoever's shits inside of you.
I see. It's been done before as a movie several times, but not in wrestling. Um,
What match?
I think one was called The Killer Eye. It was terrible. It was like a Z level like porn / horror movie.
Z level?
Z level. That's that bad. Yeah. Um, it's pretty funny. It's called The Killer Eye. It's been done in other movies. I can't remember their names. It's never been done very well. I think Idle Hands had something to do with that, but I only saw it once, like 20 years ago, so I really don't remember.
Yeah, neither.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. But yeah, so Moxley and his gang came, and the match ended in a no contest, and they continue to try and make their point. They're taking things over. That's another thing we're going to talk about here in a bit is Moxley and his crew. And the main event of Dynamite, it was a pretty story-driven show last Wednesday. We had the man who holds a contract for a world title shot in his hands, or quite literally in a metal case, Christian Cage. And he took on Jay White of the Bang Bang Gang, which still doesn't sound right to me, but the just returned Jay White. And good match here. Very good match between these two. I haven't seen Christian in a while. Hasn't wrestled in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay White, of course, just coming back. I did not expect Jay White to lose here. Steven says, Father of the Year. Get it right. All right. Father of the Year, Christian Cage, took on Jay White. Now, I didn't expect Switchblade to lose here, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Hangman Adam Page came in, and he's having this budding rivalry with White, and he had a buckshot lariat on White as the ref's back was turned, and Christian Cage, of course, took advantage of this and pinned Jay White. So very good match, marred by outside interference, unfortunately.
Which happened because the rest of the Bang Bang Gang, well, actually, Austin wasn't there. It was just Colton and Juice. They got removed from ringside, and then they lured Nick Wayne out with them via fighting.
Wasn't he kicked out too?
No, he should have been.
No, I don't think they lured him out. I think they drug him away.
Well, that's luring him out via the feet.
They literally drug him away.
Yeah, they grabbed the leg and pulled him up the ramp, and then Mother Wayne chased after him. The weirdest part of this, though, was like Adam Page was like laying on the ground outside the ring, and then popped up, hit the lariat, and then laid back down and like tried to like hunch down to like make himself as small as possible. It was like silly, kind of.
It was kind of silly. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I was just watching this match actually. Yeah. It was a little silly. And Steven here says, looks like Page and White to be feuding the rest of the year. Yeah, you would think a feud between two such
big talents.
Thank you. Wouldn't be just like a 1 month thing. Wouldn't be just a one-off.
Yeah.
But of course, we can't do Swerve versus Hangman every month, even though that might be fun. But so yeah, we're going to Page and White. Oh, and Kip Sabian distracted the ref too. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good call.
Thank you.
So Kip Sabian, I guess we could make this a talking point later if
you're forgotten fifth pillar.
Yes.
We can talk about him now.
Okay. So in the commentary when that happened, they were saying that like he was out there because he's in search of a father, because his died recently, and that he wants to join Christian. But I must have missed something at some point, because the last time I remember he was out there, he was like trying to antagonize Nick Wayne to fight him because he was talking shit about his dead dad,
Yeah.
So what did I miss? Like where he is now trying to join the patriarchy, or was he just saying that like facetiously?
I couldn't tell you because I just watched the match, as I said, but I watched it on mute. So whenever I was doing things, I had things to do. I missed it last Wednesday, but I made up for it by just watching it like just before we started the show. But yeah, I was watching it on mute. So whatever the announcers were trying to sell, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you an answer. I'm sorry.
But if you were trying to do things, wouldn't it make sense to have the sound on so you didn't have to be looking at the screen because you could hear it? Like,
I had multiple things to do. Why don't you just leave me alone?
Okay, it's just odd.
So yeah, all right. That's a great question. I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah. So if you know the answer, feel free to tell me.
Man. So, good Dynamite. Too much talking again for my liking, and it looks like that's what we're gonna get tonight on Dynamite too. But we'll see.
You told me you thought it was evenly balanced the first time we watched it. You changed your mind?
Well, I don't know if it was better. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a better balance, but still not the balance I want from AEW, and I don't think the balance a lot of people want from AEW either. Yeah, good Dynamite overall. And at some point tonight, we'll on the computer. If you'll pull that up later, we'll get the Dynamite card. We'll do a quick preview because we'll be off before 8. I promise. We're not going to hold you up to watch watching Dynamite tonight. That's why we started at 6. So, anyways, good Dynamite, and San Jose, as I was about to say. That's Han Solo's Hispanic cousin, Han Jose.
Oh my God.
I'm part Hispanic. I can make those jokes. All right. So before you get your feathers in an uproar.
It's still a dumb joke, whether you're
part it's funny.
Hispanic
it's funny.
not. It's a stupid joke.
I think it's funny. I don't know. It's just making fun of something I almost said. That's all.
I thought it was Hans Solo for a long time.
That's weird.
Well, that's a name. Hans is a name. Is Han a name besides Han Solo? I've never heard that.
I think it's a name. It's like an Asian
name. Asian name. Yeah.
There's a character named Han in the Fast and the Furious series.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Oh.
I believe that's his name, yes. And there are a lot of other Asian characters named Han. Steven says he heard Powerhouse Hobbs is in San Jose tonight. Wait, is the show in San Jose again? Because it was in San Jose last week. I don't know.
He got the dates wrong and showed up to the arena weekly.
Yeah, let me know what's up with that, Steven. I don't know where the show is tonight. It's been a busy fucking week, so we've still got your news and takes on things, but man, it's been a busy ass week. Like the real world has been crushing it down on the
No Bones household.
Oh, my bad. He says on the No Bones household. Yeah. So pray for us or throw chicken bones into the pan or
I don't want you to do either of those things.
Whatever you do for us, do that for us. Do all those things for us because we could use them.
Chicken bones in a pan? What the fuck is that? Like Ewoks?
That's no, not Ewoks. That's in the first scene of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the witch. She's got like an egg and there's blood and there's chicken bones and she mixes it all up and she portends the future to the sheriff of Nottingham.
It's also in the movie Willow.
Salt Lake City tonight. Thank you, Steven.
At the beginning when they're like trying to determine who's gonna go take the baby to the back to the mother, the wizard, the little wizard, not hobbit, but what are they called in that? Anyway, moving on.
I don't know. I'd have to see it again. I have not seen Willow in a long time. I would love to see it again.
Willow, you idiot.
That was what's his name? The actor.
Warwick Davis.
That was his biggest starring role. Well,
awesome. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's a leprechaun now. It was his biggest starring role without makeup, like without makeup effects. His biggest starring role, if we're going to be real about it, was as Wicket in Return of the Jedi.
I had him as a poster on my bedroom door for like 7 years when I was growing up. I loved Wicket.
Yeah, so the same guy, Warwick Davis, played the leprechaun and most of those leprechaun movies. Mm-hmm. He played Wicket in Return of the Jedi. He was Willow. What else? He was in something else.
He was in the Harry Potter movies.
He was in the Harry Potter movies as a professor. He was in, goddamn, there's something else I'm trying to remember with him. Anyways, he was in a ton of stuff. Very well-known little man actor.
Oh, he's in those funny things with that British guy who's like, what's it called?
I forget.
Like Carl something.
Carl something, yes. Yeah. It's a travel show.
Where the guy that like hates traveling.
Right.
And his two best friends, one of which is Warwick Davis, like make him go these places and have like a list of exotic things for him to do, and he's just like miserable the whole time. It's very funny.
Pilkington, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just look it up by that name. I forget what it's called, but it's Carl Pilkington, and one of his best friends is Ricky Gervais. and he delights in sending Carl to these exotic locales when Carl doesn't even want to leave England.
I don't even think he wants to leave his house, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with him. I don't. Classic movie, says Steven. Yeah, he says it's on Disney Plus, I believe. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah, he's also Wicket in the
Ewok movies. Yeah, Caravan of Courage
and the Ewok Adventure.
There you go. So there's your Warwick Davis insight. And Steven says, I believe Ron Howard directed the movie. I believe that's right. Yeah. Eric, hey, welcome, Eric. Thank you.
Hey.
He says next week's AEW will be fun. What's that? Do you know something I don't? Or I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun, but do you know something
specific?
Fright
Night.
Oh, fuck yeah. God, Fright Night. Yes.
The thing you've been asking for like 5 years.
Yes.
It's happening.
Well, I wanted Halloween Havoc to come back, and then they did it with NXT. And if you ask me, it fucking sucks. I gave NXT a chance for the Halloween Havoc, and they did not deliver. It was the first time I ever watched NXT. It did not deliver, and I think they still do it, but I'm not interested in that, honestly.
But Chucky co-hosts it sometimes, or has some sort of role in it.
Oh, I'll watch that. Okay, I'll watch that. But yes, the whatever it's called, Fright Night, Dynamite. Yeah, I look forward to that. I want to see a good set. I want to see a different set. AEW is not the best at not always the best at coming out with elaborate sets. What are you laughing at?
Like a holiday special, and it was just 2 trees with like nothing on them.
That was awful.
There weren't even lights on the trees.
Yeah,
there were like 2 artificial trees, like evenly spaced.
Yeah,
that was
terrible.
What?
That was terrible. That was like a joke. Yeah.
Sorry, I find that very entertaining.
And actually, speaking of which, if you like wrestling and Halloween, and you like Halloween in your wrestling, Friday night, we will be doing a watch along. We will be doing a watch along of a Halloween Havoc, WCW Halloween Havoc. That is, I have not picked the year, but I will pick the year very soon. But we're going to start at 7:55 Friday night, 7:55 Eastern Time Friday night, and I'll have more info on that later in the show. But yeah, Halloween Havoc watch along. Join us. It's always fun.
I'll be there. I wasn't sure what time you were starting. I have robotics till like 5:30.
And Eric Tate says Starrcade needs to come back too. I totally agree. WWE did it a couple years ago, several years ago, but all they did was tape a fucking house show and call it Starrcade. You remember that?
Like insulting.
No, we watched that. You remember?
No, I don't remember.
And like a quarter of it was fucking Elias playing the guitar.
Oh, I do remember this. Yes.
And they called it Starrcade. So I was like, wow, that's great. I can't believe they're bringing it back. I can't wait to see what they do. And they did fuck all with it. So yes, if they can bring it back and make it something, Starrcade, because Starrcade, it didn't used to be bigger than WrestleMania, but it did used to be better than WrestleMania. That's for sure, and I'll live and die by that. So yeah, it would be cool to see it back. Yeah, and Steven says after Fright Night, week after AEW competing with NXT at 2300 Arena in Philly. Which I guess I'm not up with the naming. I assume that's probably like the ECW, the former ECW arena, is what it maybe sounds like to me. Steven says picking the one Vader versus Foley. We did that one. That's 93. We did that last year. So if you want to see it, we and our friend Dylan did that, and bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
It's on YouTube from last year, 2023. Thank you. Yeah, former ECW arena. Yeah. But yeah, so the watch alongs from last year, you can go back, you can start them, and it's the same deal we're doing Friday, where we say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play. So then you press play, and then you're synced up, and we're there watching it with you. So yeah, go back to 2023 and check out our 93 watch along for Vader versus Foley. But yeah, the one on Friday is either going to be 1990, 1991, 1992, 1996. Or 2000. Yeah, I'm not sure what.
I eliminated 89 because it sucks.
It doesn't suck. It's just it's a slow show. All right, Collision. October 19th. Trying to see where we were on time. Oh, there it is. Collision, October 19th in Stockton, California. Which I think is in the Bay Area. opening up, we saw Ricochet take on AR Fox. God, when's the last time we saw AR Fox? I'm sure this had to be a hand-picked opponent of Ricochet.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to be. Because AR Fox, he did something to piss them off, and then they shot him to the moon. We never saw him again.
He had showed up on Ring of Honor twice.
Oh.
Since that incident which happened prior to All In, the original All In, not the original Wembley All In, I should say.
What happened?
Because we did a face on the milk carton with AR Fox.
Yes, we should do that segment again.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Just
why he got booted from life.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be in the tag match that happened in the original Wembley All In with Swerve as his partner.
Right. I
can't remember who they wrestled at this point, but instead they had to swap him out for Christian at the last minute. And they had this really awesome, I think it was Sting and Darby, actually. They had this really awesome storyline going where, they attacked Nick Wayne, who was, Darby's friend, and that's, the AR Fox was wearing, the blood-covered shirt or whatever. Yeah. And it was a really good storyline, but AR Fox, something, where his work permits that you need to go to another country to wrestle.
Yeah, Steven here saying he had work visa issues.
Yeah. And so, I don't know that I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know that he hid it from AEW, but when AEW found out, it was definitely something that they weren't aware of prior to that. And so they just he wrestled once more that year in AEW and then hadn't shown up except in Ring of Honor twice until this past match.
Yeah, you got to communicate at work, people.
Mm-hmm.
Or at life. You got to communicate. Nothing works without communication. And yes, as Steven says, he did screw up the storyline and was then persona non grata. Mm-hmm. But here he is. He showed up on Collision to have this fantastic match with Ricochet.
Yeah.
And of course, we knew AR Fox had no chance of beating Ricochet. He's unbeaten in AEW. But they had a great match. Ricochet hit Vertigo, which is the name for his finisher now, and pinned Fox. And this one was... Oh, I didn't give a match of the night on Dynamite. Let me do that real quick.
While you're doing that, can I ask a question?
What?
So, is he unbeaten, or he's just not been pinned or submitted?
Well, I call that unbeaten. Not been pinned or submitted, maybe is how we'll put it.
Because he lost a match.
Correct, yeah. Unbeaten in singles matches, we'll say that.
Yeah, okay.
Match of the night on Dynamite was definitely Christian Cage beating Jay White. And I bring that up because match of the night on Collision was Ricochet beating AR Fox. This was 5 bones out of 5. Terrific match. This was the best match of the night on Collision, and this is your AEW match of the week. AR Fox losing to Ricochet. So maybe we'll see AR Fox some more, guys. Fantastic.
Yeah. Wait, so is when 3 guys are facing each other in the ring, by themselves, that's not still considered a singles match? Because they don't have a tag partner. They're still wrestling as a singles wrestler.
One-on-one matches. Jesus, let it go.
No, I'm trying to understand the language.
Yeah, here's Steven says Ricochet wants Okada. Yeah, that's the way it seems. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. All right, up next on Collision, we had former TBS champion Chris Statlander taking on the psychotic Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
And it was a decent match. A little back and forth. Harley Cameron, did some selling, did some good selling, I think. She's a decent seller. She needs to improve, but she's decent at it. Statlander's offense, looks good as always, but we need to see more. I mean, I know she's a heel now, but we need to see more fire from her, don't you feel like? Some more emotion.
Yeah.
Whether it's negative or positive. I need to see more. I mean, she's a good wrestler. It's nothing against her wrestling. We just need to see more emotion out of her, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like they separated her and Stokely too soon.
Yeah, definitely. I don't understand why they ended that at all.
Yeah. She needs them.
Yes, yeah.
She needs someone to talk for her.
Mm-hmm. But decent match. Statlander pinned Cameron after a tombstone pile driver. Like I said, just nothing wrong with it, but nothing amazing. 3 bones out of 5 on that one. And Steven says, looks like Statlander has to go through Camille before she gets to Mercedes. Yeah, it does. Our Statlander, who's facing Camille tonight?
Queen Aminata.
Oh, Queen Aminata, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But it does look like Statlander's facing Camille, before Mercedes.
I think they announced it.
Announce what?
Camille and Statlander.
Oh, I felt like they did. Okay,
Yeah,
that's why I was asking. Okay. Yeah, Statlander definitely looking for the TBS title back. Which I don't know. I guess was she a face here against Harley? I guess so. Maybe that's why they got rid of Stokely, because maybe they're gonna make her a face. I mean, if she's taking on Camille, she's a heel. If she's gonna take on Mercedes, she's a heel.
They need to have her makeup on screen with Willow before they try and pass her off as a face.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Willow is too loved to have someone that turned on her in that like vicious fashion to just like all of a sudden be like okay with the audience again.
Yeah, that's confusing. Yeah, it's confusing, definitely.
It's hard. I know. I mean, I know she's an outcast, so it's hard to not call her a heel. But like, I just love Harley Cameron so much that like in my mind she's a face.
Yeah,
she's so funny.
And Steven says, "Yep, Statlander turning face. Yeah, definitely. Really head scratcher. Missed the alien gimmick. Yeah, I like the alien gimmick. The best friend, and all that. Yeah, I like the alien gimmick. Yeah, it's like because we knew she wasn't an alien, but maybe she was. But I like just the idea, just the, because that's like part of the, like older AEW. When wrestlers would be just like, I'm an alien. They'd be like, all right, right, great, go in the ring. Which some of it I'm glad it's not like that anymore, but some of it I miss. Because definitely the new AEW and the old original AEW, we'll call it, very different. Some for good, some for not. So
definitely take themselves more seriously now.
Oh yeah.
A little less fun.
Yeah, but I'm fine with it.
Oh, I'm fine with it. No, I'm not complaining. I know that sounds like a complaint. Less fun seems like a complaint, but it's not. I like what it is now more than what it was then.
Yeah, it still gets a little silly sometimes. It still gets pretty silly sometimes. Yeah, the wrestling quality is, to me, what it's all about. And the wrestling quality is way higher than it was when the company began.
Yeah.
Way higher. So you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
No one's gonna get your like 50-year-old song reference from a television show.
When the world never seems.
Oh my God, stop.
To be living up to your dreams. So Statlander got the win over Cameron. And then we had a good trios match. We had Daniel Garcia team up with Private Party, who have definitely been getting featured more lately. And they took on the Premier Athletes on Collision here, who are a very good trios team, but just they're jobbers, let's face it. Enhancement talent, we'll say. Unfortunately.
Are they a very good trios team? Or do you just love Tony Nese?
I think all three of them are very skilled wrestlers, yeah. I think they're a very good trios team.
I can't name a move I've ever seen Arya Daivari like do. Can you?
Well, they don't let them do as.
Well, I know. So how are you gonna say they're a good trios team if like I can't picture in my head him doing a wrestling move?
Maybe you're not paying attention.
That's also very possible. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a good match. The Premier Athletes are always good opponents, I feel like. And especially Tony Nese, who is criminally underused and underrated. And who just had a child this week, or maybe twins, I think I heard. So congratulations to Tony Nese.
My God, twins.
Two more little nieces in the world. And I guess his brother has two nieces who are nieces.
I was just thinking
that. Anyways, good match here. Marquin pinned Josh Woods after he and Isaiah Cassidy hit the Gin and Juice, their tag team finisher. Good match here. 4 bones out of 5. And a good win with Daniel Garcia and Private Party in the Trios division here.
May I have a moment?
Okay.
So, previously, if you have listened to our show, especially the lead up to the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, I've talked a lot of shit about Private Party, which I think was earned. But I wanted to just take a moment to recognize that during Wrestle Dream and the 2 matches I've seen them have post Wrestle Dream, or maybe it was one prior, during, and then one after, they've really stepped up their wrestling game just in the last like 3 matches. I still hate the silly string, but in one of the matches, like this past one, I think it was, they hit it in the way I think it's supposed to be hit every time, and it looked awesome.
Yep.
So I think they just really suck at consistently pulling the move off. Because when he did it, I was like, oh my God, that's the silly string? Like, that does not look the way it normally looks at all. And it was awesome. So I'm going to back off a little bit on hating on Private Party because they have really stepped up their game.
That's your backing off on hating them is to say it usually sucks.
Well, but I think they're like improving, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a stupid move, but they're good wrestlers. I recognize that now. I don't know if I would still say that. I still wouldn't say that they're like tag belt level, but they're like really getting there, you know? Which I would not have said like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, good on them.
Well, we saw them live a couple months ago, and I thought they were pretty good. I thought they were pretty improved at that point.
I thought the Dawsons were better.
No, yeah, they fought the Dawsons on Dawson Brothers, who were from our neck of the woods in North Carolina. What show was that? Was it Rampage? Yeah. Good match, fun match. Speaking of fun matches, here's the opposite. Former two-time international champ Orange Cassidy took on fucking Bulk Bronson of the goddamned Iron Savages. If you watch the show, if you listen to the show, you know I fucking can't stand them. And they were in full Iron Savage mode on this collision, fucking doing the ghost, spreading the ass cheeks and licking inside of it, and talking about sipping on Savage sauce. That's asshole juice, people.
No, it's not.
It's asshole juice.
They bring out like a container of what they call Savage sauce.
Yeah, you can put it in a container. You can put any fluid in a container.
Okay, moving on. You're gross.
They're gross. I didn't do it. They're gross. That's why I hate them. They're gross. Anyways, less said about them, the better. Orange Cassidy pinned him after an orange punch and a beach break. This was a squash match.
Which I totally requested. Like, as soon as Orange Cassidy got to the ring, I was like, he better defeat him in like 3 seconds. And then he did.
Yeah, it was very short.
Which is why I'm the predictions.
This was like 7 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. He didn't hit a single move.
No, he did nothing.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Up next, we saw, unless you were a paying fan, maybe then it wasn't that awesome, you know?
Oh, yeah.
If I'm a paying fan, personally, the most I want to see is one jobber match. I mean, really.
Wasn't that the only one?
No.
Oh,
That's coming up next.
Yeah.
We had former women's world champ Jamie Hayter in her, still in her return phase here. And she took on Brooke Havoc. And this was short. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hayter pinned Havoc after the Haterade Lariat. And Jamie Hayter looked terrific in it, both physically and in the ring. Yeah, she's great. I can't wait till she's back in the world title scene a bit more.
Yeah.
She looks great. She is great. And that's what I got to say about Jamie Hayter, yeah.
I think she's going to be the one that finally takes out Mercedes and gets the TBS title.
I could see that. Kay, your nameplate is blocking out part of your face.
Oh, my nameplate wasn't there before.
Yes, it was.
Not at the beginning, because I was like, where are our nameplates?
No, you're frozen. There you go.
Sorry.
No, they've been there the whole show. Yes. All right, so Jamie Hayter got the win. And up next on Collision, we had a bunch of matches on Collision this week. We saw former Ring of Honor World Television Champions battle as Atlantis Jr., who just recently lost the belt to Brian Cage. He took on Kyle Fletcher of the Callis family. And this is another terrific match here. Really enjoyed this one. Would have been the match of the night on Collision if Ricochet had not fought AR Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just good back and forth. A lot of flips, a lot of reversals, a lot of technical wrestling. Good stuff. And Fletcher pinned Atlantis Jr. following a brainbuster onto the top fucking turnbuckle, which looked very painful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if he has a name for that move, but it's awesome. Great match here. 4.5 bones out of 5. Let's see more of Atlantis Jr. on television. He is very skilled. Yeah.
Well, he just lost his Ring of Honor title. His
literally just said that.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like that's why he hasn't been on AEW that much because he's been on Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So right. Let's see. Let's hope we see him on AEW some more.
I didn't realize till you said how much wrestling we had on Collision. There were 9 matches.
Wow. Yes.
That's insane. I can't think of
9 matches, yeah.
I can't think of a Collision that's had 9 matches before. Like Ring of Honor, you get like 9 to 12 usually. Maybe like 8 to 12. But Collision, like I don't think we've ever been up to 9.
9 matches, yeah. 2 of them were squash matches, but still 9 matches, yeah. Oh, excuse me. 3 of them were another fucking squash match. 3 of them were squash matches. Because we had the House of Black, former World Trios champions, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King. And they took on Alpha Zoe, Chris Nasty with 2 T's.
2 Y's.
Oh, 2 Y's. Yes, I'm sorry. I put 2 T's here.
Yeah.
That would be better. I think that's why I put it. It's Nasty with 2 Y's. And Illumide, also known as the Dark Fox, apparently he calls himself. And I think it just took me longer to introduce them maybe than the match lasted.
Correct.
Well, no, they let everybody kind of get their shit in for like 15 seconds. But the House of Black ran through them, got the win. Buddy Matthews pinned Alpha Zoe after Brody King splashed him in the corner and he fell on his face. And the House of Black get the easy trios win here. And it looks like they're making their way back into the trios division conversation.
Good.
Up next, we had a tag team division match, as we had the Outrunners, who have won their past 2 matches and are, God, maybe the hottest act in AEW right now. They got louder cheers than anyone else I heard this week, even than Ricochet. Now, Will Ospreay was away this week, so I'm just saying this week, I feel like the Outrunners were probably the most cheered team. Wouldn't you say so?
I would, and what's like the weirdest part for me is like they're helping elevate FTR. Which like you wouldn't think would make sense at all, but like I feel like FTR's like popularity has kind of slid significantly over the last like year or so.
People are just fucking fickle.
Well, I know they are, but I'm just saying like that's what's happened, and so they're hitching their ride to this like shooting star.
Yeah,
and I think it's working.
Yeah, it's good. Well, people are getting to see them be a little less serious, you know, which I think is very good for their characters. And I love FTR, and even I've enjoyed it, you know, seeing a different side of them.
Cash Wheeler doing the like spinny thing with the arms,
yeah, the spinny pointing, which if I had enough room, I would do here. I love it. Can't spin around. I'm in a chair. The Outrunners took on 2/3 of the new La Facción Ingobernables. They took on Rush and the Beast Mortos, and Dralistico accompanied them, but they're already pulling this shit where their manager, Jake the Snake Roberts, is not with them. So he formed, a week ago, they formed this alliance with Jake the Snake, and now a week later, he's not fucking even there. I hate it. I hate it when they do this.
Part-time.
I hate it when AEW does this. When they give somebody a manager or they make a stable and then you don't see them together ever. And especially with a manager, you're either their manager or you're not. You either come to the ring with them or you don't. You don't need to do this sometimes bullshit. I hate it. I hate it. He should be part of their identity, you know? But anyways, good match here. Outrunners look great. I mean, I'm a big fan of theirs. I love the gimmick. And of course, Beast Mortos is amazingly agile for his size. Rush is fantastic in the ring. I feel like he's underrated. He brings a real legitimate intensity into the ring with him. And Beast Mortos and Rush surprisingly got the win. I thought, now this one could have gone either way. I expected the Outrunners were on this roll. I thought they would get the win, but Mortos and Rush did. And Rush pinned Turbo Floyd when Dralistico held down Floyd's leg. So they got it through cheating, but still got the win.
I asked you during this match who you thought was going to win, and you said the heels.
Well, before the match, I thought the faces, but once the match got going, I realized that the heels were going to win.
I did not realize.
Yeah. But yeah, good match. 4 bones out of 5 here. And Beast Mortos and Rush, I don't know if they're going to continue being a tag team. I don't know. Or if they'll remain singles stars. I'm not sure. But they got the win.
Don't you think they're gonna eventually become a trios team that like wrestles for the trios belts?
Well, you would think so, but here they were as a tag team. So
I love that though. I love when you have like a faction of 3 people and they wrestle singles for like singles belts, and they could get the tag belts or they could get the trio. I love it.
Yeah, like with Omega and the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Or Pac and the Lucha Brothers.
Death Triangle.
I miss the Lucha Brothers. Yeah, Death Triangle. So I don't know if you haven't heard. Yeah, so the Lucha Brothers, have signed with that other company, but Pentel Cerro Miedo, I'm not sure exactly when his contract is up. Maybe it already is. He's free to sign with that other company, but Tony Khan added injury time, which is his right to do. He added injury time onto Ray Phoenix's contract. So Phoenix, who has often been injured in AEW, has to sit around and I guess practice his wrestling,
It's like for a year,
or take indie dates or whatever. Yeah, for a year. I believe he can still take indie dates. Yeah, I don't see why that would change. But he won't be on TV for AEW, and he won't be with that other company for at least a year. Which a lot of people think, Tony Khan's being an asshole. But after all the tampering that other company has done, he just finally put his foot down and he said, you want to fucking play? I'll play. So good for him, that's Ray Phoenix is one of my favorite wrestlers. I hate seeing him get in the crosshairs of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, he engaged in negotiations when he wasn't supposed to. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what happens. So fine with me.
Tony Khan can't win. People are either like, "Oh, he's so nice, he can't even be a boss," and now they're like, "Oh, that's such an asshole thing to do. He should just let one of his star wrestlers go to this other company a year before he has to."
Yeah. Yeah, I like him putting his foot down. Yeah. I mean, you can still be nice and be the boss and run a company, and that's what he's showing now. Now he's being the boss and running it like a business. It's not like he killed his child. I mean, the guy's still getting paid and stuff, and he's still paid for all his fucking surgeries for the injuries. So, he's just enforcing his contract as he has a right to. That's what happens when you sign a contract.
Wait, so if he gets injured now, like at an indie show,
it will add more time onto his contract. Yes.
No, but I mean, Tony is going to have to keep paying for his medical until he's no longer under contract, right?
I'm not sure what the terms would be if the injury happens at a different company's show. I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. I don't know.
I ask the good questions. All right, what do we got next?
All right. Then the main event of Collision, which again, pretty good show, I thought. Main event of Collision was a World Trios title match. We saw Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac of the Blackpool Combat Club, I guess they're called. Mm-hmm. And they defended against Top Flight and Action Andretti. And pretty good match. Top Flight and Andretti didn't really get in a lot. This is mostly just to show how good a team Claudio, Yuta, and Pac are. And Pac pinned Andretti. Pretty short work, like I said. After a tombstone pile driver. Saw a couple of those on Collision, and it was a decent match. Like I said, just Top Flight and Andretti didn't get in enough offense really to make it much of a fight.
It wasn't fun.
Wasn't fun?
No.
What do you mean?
I don't like this trios group. That's the champions.
Why?
Because I feel like they don't get because Moxley's there. Like, I feel like he's like, hurry up and win so I can go beat people up. I don't know. I feel like, I mean,
I don't think they're supposed to be fun.
Well, I know, but it's a trios championship match. Like, I want to see stuff from both sides. I want to see them do their moves. Like, I feel like these 3 guys were wrestling differently than they normally do because they wanted to emphasize that they're hammering people down.
Yeah.
But that's not fun. I want to see them wrestle. I don't want to just see people get the shit kicked out of them. I want to see you do actual wrestling moves.
Yeah, I get your meaning. Yeah, they definitely were wrestling differently. Yeah,
Pac is so fun to watch, and
usually, yeah.
In this, he wasn't fun.
Yeah, they grounded him, kind of, and yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
And no swing.
And what?
No swing.
No swing from Claudio.
Yeah.
You can't be a heel and do that shit. No. People love it too much.
I did like the amount of booing that Yuta got, though. It's nice to just see people reacting to him in some way, other than indifference. So
yeah,
I think turning him this super betrayer of Danielson was a good move.
Yeah, we saw him again. We saw him several months ago live, and people could not have cared less when he came out.
And it was a good match. Even throughout the match,
good.
Nobody gave a shit. And he was him and Rocky Romero, and the match was fun.
Yeah.
But nobody cared.
No one cared.
Except for us.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that was the main event of Collision, which went directly into AEW Battle of the Belts 12, which I kind of have some problem with them calling it Battle of the Belts because we had one match that wasn't even. We had one match that wasn't for a title, and one match that was a tag team match and had a champion, and then it was also not for a title. So two of the two of the four matches on the show were not for titles. Fuck that shit. You call it Battle of the Belts, they better all be for titles.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm okay with it in an eliminator match. You're not okay with an eliminator match?
No. You call it Battle of the Belts, there better be belts on the line. You can put the eliminator matches on every other show. Leave this for title matches.
But all the Battle of the Belts, except for two of them, no titles have ever changed hands. So if an eliminator match is going to allow a non-predictable win, I'll take an eliminator match. Because they're obviously not changing belts. Belts aren't changing hands on the show. So what's the point of it?
I agree with that, yeah. And Eric here says Battle of Belts was boring, and I tend to agree, except for one match, yeah, which I'll get to in a minute here. Yeah, it wasn't two were good. Two were good. Two matches. The other half of the show was just nothing.
The first one I hated.
Yeah, the first match was, again, Claudio, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta putting the World Trios titles on the line for some reason against the Dark Order, who haven't won a match since God knows when. But they get a world title shot here, and they it wasn't a short match, but they just destroyed the Dark Order.
Well, they beat them up before the match started.
Yeah.
So
made short work of them, and Alex Reynolds tapped out to Claudio's sharpshooter. And yeah, this was a squash match, nothing really to it. Just again, as we were saying about Collision, just to display the dominance of this trios title team. Up next, we had a very good match. We had a Continental title match with Kazuchika Okada of the Elite taking on Kyle O'Reilly of the Conglomeration. And Eric saying this Battle of Belts was like a rampage.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that we would have gotten the Okada match and the Mariah May match both on a rampage.
Yeah. I get
your point. Yeah.
Yeah, it should feel
special.
You're calling some Battle of the Belts. It should feel special. Exactly. It should feel bigger than your third TV show, than your third ranked TV show.
Well, didn't they do the same thing with Title Tuesday, where not every match was a title match, but you were calling it Title Tuesday?
Yes. Yeah. I don't care for that.
Why?
Well, that, like I said, I think that was just to remind people it was coming on Tuesday that week, which, okay, I get that. Anyways, we had a Continental title match. Okada defending against O'Reilly. And Okada pinned O'Reilly after he hit the Rainmaker.
Are you laughing because of your Irish Okada?
Yes, I am.
During this match, he turns to me and he goes, Okada's Irish, And I was like, what? And he was like, Okada.
Kazuchika Okada. Top of the morning to you. I'm the Continental Champion, don't you know? Kazuchika Okada, get it? Okada, O'Reilly. Yeah. Anyways, very good match here. Very good technical match put on by these two men. O'Reilly is awesome in the ring. And Okada, though, did pin him, as I said, after the Rainmaker. 4.5 bones out of 5. This was the best match on Battle of the Belts, for sure. Third match. This was nothing. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Brian Cage teamed with Lance Archer, and both of them are of the Callis family now, apparently. And they took on fan favorite Jack Cartwheel along with John Cruz, but Cartwheel didn't even get a chance to do his acrobatic flippy stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Not what?
He used multiple cartwheels to escape. He didn't do them as like offensive moves.
Maybe just two or so.
Yeah, they were like
usually he's flipping all over the damn place, but okay, he did two then maybe. But yeah, this was nothing. Cage and Archer pinned Cruz after a double power bomb, and Cage and Archer get the win in a pointless match, utterly pointless. And then the main event of Battle of the Belts was again not for a title, but it was a title eliminator match, meaning if the challenger won, she would win a shot at the world title. And so it was Mariah May, the champion, taking on Anna Jay, recently, I don't know if you heard, but recently returning from a tour of Japan with Stardom.
In case you forgot, you can always look at her outfit because it's now covered in stars.
I like it. It's shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good match here.
I'm very entertained by shiny things.
I do like shiny things very much, yes. Holograms and things like that, and shiny things just in general. Yes, I like them very much. Anna Jay got the shock win here. Mariah May has been on such a streak. I did not think they would have her lose a match, but here it is. And Jay pinned May with a surprise roll up, and AEW needs more of this type of shit because I love AEW, but also I've seen a lot of wrestling. And also Tony Khan has obviously seen a lot of wrestling. And I say both those things because I can usually pick AEW, the TV shows for sure, very, very accurately. And I'm not the only one out there. Kay can. I know a lot of you fans out there can. I'm not bragging. I'm just pointing out that the shows need to be more unpredictable. Like things like this, like Anna Jay winning a title shot by pinning the world champion. More stuff like this, please, because the quality of wrestling is there, the quality of the announcing is there. Presentation could use some more money, but then the other biggest thing is the surprises, and we do get surprise debuts and returns and blah blah blah, those things. I just mean match outcome surprises.
Yeah, because I have not watched a lot of wrestling. I mean, I watched more than the average person, but like as far as I was not a lifelong wrestling fan, and I was 100% at the last pay-per-view. I mean, yeah. I don't have years and years and years of wrestling knowledge to look back on to inform my decisions, and that's still predictable in my opinion, and so it's not just those lifers that I think are finding things a little too easy to guess the outcome of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you missed it, Wrestle Dream, Kay went perfect. She picked, how many matches were there? 9?
Yeah.
She picked all 9 matches perfectly. And she won back our No Bones About Wrestling Prediction Championship belt, which right there, yeah. And she won it back. She's a 2-time champion now. She's pretty good at picking.
I'm a 3-time champion.
3-time champion?
Yeah, because I was the first ever champion, and then you won it from me for like a month, and then I got it back. And then I kept it for like...
won it.
Yeah.
And now you have it back. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. She's good at picking pay-per-views. I am too. I wonder who has the higher average. Probably you. Anyways, so yeah, so that was Battle of the Belts.
Wait, what bone number?
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 bones out of 5. Good match.
That was the match that I was like, "What is wrong with you?" I thought it was very good, especially as I sometimes am judgmental about Private Party. We used to be very judgmental about Anna Jay, and I feel like she's just improved shockingly. Yeah. Drastically.
Yeah.
In a very short period of time.
I agree. Yeah, she used to be, in my eyes, one of the worst people in the entire roster, men and women.
You thought she should just give up wrestling and go find a different job.
Yes, I did. And I meant that.
Yeah.
But apparently she just needs some training and stuff. I mean, she's not like a phenomenon now or anything or great, but she is greatly improved. I'll say that.
It's like, is that the same person?
Yeah.
Like, it's that level of change.
Yeah, much more confidence. Much more confidence, which that's a lot of wrestling. So much of wrestling is confidence. confidence in yourself, confidence in your character, and your abilities. You gotta have those things, or you will not be successful.
Letting her moves have follow through. She was like the number one offender when it came to like pulling your punches or like just like women afraid of hurting each other. Like she would slow down so much before delivering a move.
Yeah.
It did not look good, but she has gotten over that, so that's awesome.
Weak ass bullshit. I think it's the phrase you're looking for.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, much improved. So good for her. And now she's getting a world title shot out of it. So
nice.
All right, and I've just realized I left off Rampage. I was like, something's wrong. Okay, Rampage the night before. Little out of order here. Sorry. October 18th in Stockton. Gonna go over this Rampage pretty quickly, and because we have some other things we want to get to. So it opened with a non-title match. We had the Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe of the Conglomeration, and he took on the Butcher. Decent match. The Butcher's become a jobber, so there wasn't there wasn't much intrigue to the match, but they had a nice brawler match. Never really turned into anything. Didn't get time to turn into anything too great. Briscoe pinned Butcher after a very good looking froggy bow, as he calls it. 3.5 bones out of 5. Up next, we had Kyle O'Reilly of the Conglomeration taking on Aaron Solo, who we've not seen in quite a while in AEW. He used to be on, in the early days, he was on, every, felt like every Dynamite, or every other Dynamite. He was around a lot. And he had a different look now as well, different hairstyle. And he's pretty good, but he didn't get a chance to show it here. This was a squash match. Solo tapped out to O'Reilly's hanging guillotine. And again, Kyle O'Reilly looked very good in the ring, but this time, unlike losing to Okada, he gets the win over Aaron Solo here. Third match on Rampage. This was the precursor to Anna Jay defeating Mariah May. She took on Trish Adora, who is very skilled. She's part of the Infantry faction, who are mostly always in Ring of Honor. She appears in AEW more than the two men in the faction do. And Trish Adora, if you don't know her, she has one of my favorite finisher names of all time. It's a clothesline that she calls the Lariat Tubman, playing, of course, on Harriet Tubman. The woman who was one of the leaders of the Underground Railroad. And I love that name. It's just so funny. The Lariat Tubman. But Anna Jay gave Adora the loss after I'm not sure what's it called, but it was a front drop slam, I'll call it. And Adora got to actually perform her offense here, and we had a good match between the two. The result wasn't in question, but we had a good match. As I said, Anna Jay got the win, 4 bones out of 5. And then the next night, got the win over Mariah May in the Eliminator match. They have not announced a date for that world title match. And the main event of Rampage, we saw Private Party, who have been getting quite a push lately, been featured more prominently, as well as they've deserved. They've stepped up their game. And they took on the fucking MXM collection, who I'm tired of already. And of course, they had the atrocious skit, 1 or 2 weeks ago, however long ago that was. That has no place in AEW. Let's. I don't know anyone personally who thought that has a place in AEW, or it was funny or anything like that. So yeah, just. Anyways, Cassidy hit a moonsault to pin Mansoor. This wasn't much of anything. I give it 3.5 bones out of 5. Private Party looked very good, but MXM Collection, they're very limited in what they do, and their shtick, as I said, has already become tired to me. All right, so coming up now is our AEW top 5. Your AEW top fives, where we sweat, we slave, we strive to bring you the most accurate top 5 rankings in all of the interweb and planets beyond, worlds beyond, parallel galaxies, parallel universes, more importantly, which all exist at once. But that's a discussion for a different show as well.
Wait, so
you need to let yourself back in.
I can't do that.
Oh, I can.
Wait, so is our top 5 different in parallel universes?
Yes, yeah. Everything's different in parallel universes. They're infinite parallel universes. Aren't you a science teacher? Shouldn't you know this?
I was just confirming that that's what you were saying.
There are infinite parallel universes, and some of which where I'm your mother. Yeah, think about that.
And we're all cats.
And some of which you're my father, and some of which we're all cats. Yeah.
Like kitty history.
You look up kitty history on YouTube.
It's so good.
It's very funny. Very accurate too.
Mm-hmm.
Startlingly accurately. Anyways, so what are we going to do first? We rank men, women, and teams for how they've performed in the past week. So teams. Number 5, the House of Black Trios team, former champions. They didn't have very strong opposition this week, but they looked phenomenal in getting the win. Do what?
I said, as always.
Yeah, as always. Number 4, we were just discussing them. Private Party. They got a trios win with Daniel Garcia. That doesn't count for this. That's not who I'm talking about. But then they also got a tag team win over the MXM collection on Rampage. So they were winners twice this week. And it's number 4 is Private Party, the tag team.
Are you saying like if they moved up or down?
Oh, well, I didn't have time to do
that. Oh, okay, so never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I think they were like really high last week or the week before.
They were number 1 last week.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here it is. This is it. But nonetheless, I didn't have time to do that this week. I did the end of the show really on the fly, and it's my fault because I sat around and watched Halloween H2O today and forgot I had to do the top 5s. Man, that's a good movie. I'd kind of put it down on my list of favorites.
H2O?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's up there.
I put it down on my list of Halloween movies, but it's really good. And I'd always kind of put it down there, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it just came out so close. That's 7.
Okay.
Maybe it came out too close to Scream for me. I don't know. But
I love H2O.
No, it's great. It's very great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it today. The Halloween movies came out in 4K, and if you're a horror fan, you should pick up those Halloween 4Ks. It's fantastic.
And a movie.
The sound is this. Yeah, the sound is one of the best parts. The pictures look very good, but the biggest upgrade in those has been the sound I've found.
What about remember how shocked we were when we saw the first Halloween picture?
That's true.
Because they like did the scans of the original film.
Of the first several.
Yeah.
Or no. I'm sorry. I was thinking Friday the 13th. I think they redid the scan of like all the Halloweens in this collection. Or at least 1 through 1 through 8. Yeah, they redid the scans of anyways, we like horror too, so and we had big plans for October that had not come
every year
through.
October crushes our souls.
Yeah. That's okay. We've made it through almost.
Asa thinks it's because we have an upside down pentagram made of sticks on our front door.
I don't think so. It's not what I'm the one who put it there.
I know.
I don't think that's why. I think it's just no, never mind. Where was I? Oh, number 4, Private Party. Number 3, they got a win over the Outrunners, and that is Roosh and the Beast Mortos coming in at number 3, representing LFI this week. Number 2 in the top 5, FTR, former World Tag Team Champs, and they had a win over Big Bill and Brian Keith on Dynamite last week. And the top team in the top 5 this week is our or whichever, the World Trios Champions, Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club, number 1, with 2 title defenses this week.
One of those should not count.
So that's number 1, Pac, Claudio, and Yuta. Number 2, FTR. Number 3, Roosh and the Beast Mortos. Number 4, Private Party. And number 5, the House of Black Trios team. So what's next, men or women?
Women.
Women. Number 5. Just 1 win in a jobber match, but she looked great. Former world champion Jamie Hayter. Number 4. Again, just a win in a jobber match, but looked very good. And that was no, I'm sorry. Chris Statlander beat Harley Cameron. That's who it was. So I wouldn't call her a jobber. Chris Statlander, number 4. Number 3 this week, making a successful title defense, and that is TBS champion Mercedes Moné. And who did she defend against? Who was that? Oh, Queen Aminata.
Yeah.
Number 2 this week is the world champion Mariah May, she's been number 1 for weeks. And your number 1 ranked woman this week, I never, ever thought I would say this, is Anna Jay, who got a win over Trish Adora and looked very good in that, and beat the world champion, pinned her in an eliminator match at Battle of the Belts 12, winning a world title shot. So number 1, Anna Jay, shockingly. Number 2, Mariah May. Number 3, Mercedes Moné. They all rhyme. Number 4, Chris Statlander. Number 5, Jamie Hayter. And those almost rhyme. They both end in er. All right.
Wait, can I say one thing? Because I wasn't here when you were talking about Trish Adora.
Okay.
If you have never watched RJ City's AEW show that he does, it comes out every Sunday on YouTube. And he interviews different AEW wrestlers. And this week he did the Infantry, which includes Trish Adora. Hilarious and awesome. And I love them. And you should check it out. I learned a lot about them.
Yeah, AEW. I've heard it's funny. I haven't watched, but maybe I should.
You watched some of it with me about Mark Briscoe and his teeth.
Yeah. He's one of their writers, actually, RJ City. Wrote a lot of the Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm stuff.
I also read he's writing a lot of Moxley stuff right now, the BCC stuff.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Seems legit. I don't know where the fuck he came from. I never heard him before AEW, but he seems
He's
legit.
a former wrestler.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, for the men, top 5 this week. Number 5, I was going to call him undefeated. He's undefeated in one-on-one matches. Ricochet had an awesome 5-bone match against AR Fox on, what was that?
Collision.
On Collision this week. Yeah, thank you. Number 4, representing the conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, the Ring of Honor World Champion, who defeated the Butcher this week on Collision. Number 3, a man.
No, I didn't.
Briscoe beat the Butcher, yes.
That wasn't on Collision.
Yes, it was.
I don't have it written down. That was on Rampage, wasn't it? I don't have Rampage written down.
Rampage. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, thank you. Briscoe beat the Butcher on Rampage. Number 3, representing the Elite. He is on quite a winning streak. I'm not sure how many matches, but it's been a while. And that is the AEW Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada. Or Kazuchika Okada, top of the morning to you, as he is now known in our household.
By him.
Okada. Number 2, the Father of the Year. The man who holds a world title shot anytime he chooses, any place he chooses, apparently. Christian Cage.
So I noticed this week that his metal clipboard thing that he keeps his contract in, on it says future AEW champion.
It's funny. I had not seen that. Now, of course, he got a big win over Jay White on, what was that, Collision?
Yeah.
Dynamite.
That was the main
event of Dynamite. Yeah, got a big win over Jay White. And of course, number 1 is your AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley. Didn't wrestle this week, but loomed large over everything. And so Top 5 men: number 1, Jon Moxley; number 2, Christian Cage; number 3, Kazuchika Okada; number 4, Mark Briscoe; number 5, Ricochet. And now we have Kay Fabulous with her ever enjoyable wrestling of fashion do's and don'ts. So Kay, take it away.
Unusually, this week it is only fashion do's.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah.
This is a first. Okay,
no, it's a second.
Oh, so can I still do my thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Do.
If you are joining a suave, newly reformed faction, do show up wearing a silky-looking button-up collared shirt, as the newest member of LFI did, the Beast Mortos.
Do.
If you're going for a new look now that you are the newest member of the Callis family, do get rid of your brightly colored braided extensions as Lance Archer did. He looks really normal now, which is weird, but I think overall it's a good move. Like, it's hard to recognize him now because his hair is so different. And I think he's going to the same hairstylist as Pac because it was just like wet and pulled in front of his face.
He looks like if The Undertaker became a born-again Christian.
He does seem like a born-again Christian. Do you know that that's a thing?
I think he has a Christian tattoo on him. I think
he's got
Christian.
Calgary? Whatever that hill is. What's that called?
Calvary.
Calvary. I knew it was something. Wait, Calgary's in Canada.
Calgary is in Canada, yeah.
Sorry.
Calvary is where Jesus died for your sins. Okay.
Oh my God.
It's where he died for you.
No, I know that because I used to sing in the Catholic church that I grew up in, and there was a song called Calvary, and I knew that. Sorry. Anyway, what am I doing?
Oh, wow. Do.
If you have finally made a decision and are now in AEW wholeheartedly, do emphasize the fact that you are its defender by wearing an AEW shirt as Daniel Garcia did on Collision. I love that they used his wardrobe to further emphasize his feelings as a character.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that often enough, I think, in wrestling. But at first I was like, why is he wearing an AEW shirt? Because they never come out in just plain AEW gear. They always have either their shirt or actual wrestling gear on. And then I realized, oh, he is defending AEW against stupid Jon Moxley.
Do.
If you are the AEW Women's Champion, trying to make others bow down to your strength and power, do dress like Shira, Princess of Power, like Mariah May did at Battle of the Belts.
That's the wrestling fashion do's and don'ts from Kay Fabulous. Kay, thank you. Great as always.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
My sister used to have an electric toothbrush stand that was Shira themed, and you pushed a button and it said some sort of rhyme about Shira and brushing your teeth. It's I am Shira, Princess of Power. But then I think it said I brush my teeth every day, every hour, but that can't be what it said, right? But it was old toys when the batteries start dying,
yeah.
The voice starts getting lower. And so by the end, it was I am Shira, Princess of Power.
Why didn't you just replace the batteries?
Because I think it was dying. It wasn't just the batteries. It was yeah.
That's sad.
Anyway. It was shaped like a castle.
That's cool. All right, now we're doing a segment we haven't done in a couple weeks, and this is where we look at some of the proceedings on television in the past week, and we ask the question, "Where's this going?"
And I have another one that I thought of while you were doing it, so I'll have something to add at the end.
Okay, and so the first one that we'll do. Does Jon Moxley's explanation make sense in that he's explaining that he's back in AEW to take it over, to become what's a better way to say it?
No, he's trying to take over.
He's trying to take it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does this make sense given that the Young Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry are already in the midst of their own takeover?
Do you want me to?
I want you to start.
Okay. I was this was my question. Am I answering my question? No, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, there are actual people who are taking over who have a legitimate claim as EVPs, who are already heels. And Tony was kind of like already kind of back and forthing with them, at least initially. Now he just seems to be okay with them having taken over. But it doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense that he's the AEW champion and he wants to save AEW from itself, basically, is kind of what he's sounding like. Like he wants to return it to its original intent. But he's not wearing the belt or carrying the belt. And Marina Shafir has a plastic briefcase handcuffed to her hand. And there has been no explanation of that, but it's too small for the belt to fit in. So, like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, I have a possible explanation that I hope isn't true, but that I've read online. Some people think, Moxley said something about it's not about him, it's about something bigger and this and that. And a lot of people think Shane McMahon is going to show up and reveal himself to be the one pulling the strings of this new Moxley group. And Shane McMahon will debut as a heel running this group and trying to take over AEW from Tony Khan.
Can I tell you all the reasons why I think that's wrong?
Well, let me give you another
Okay.
possibility. Another possibility, I think this is less likely than the Shane McMahon one, but I think this would really make sense from a storyline perspective. Is perhaps Tony Khan could be the one behind Moxley and his group. Now remember back the Young Bucks injured Tony Khan's neck, and remember he was in a neck cast. Neck brace, thank you, for several weeks. And even on the NFL draft telecast to sell the injury, he was in a neck brace. So, I don't think Tony Nese has any love lost for the Elite faction.
Tony Khan.
Oh, thank you. Tony Khan. I don't think Tony Khan has any love lost for the Elite faction. So this could be him leading a group to try and get control, get his company back from these bastards. So
that makes way more sense.
But I think it's less likely. It makes sense. I would like to see it. I thought of that one, but it's less likely. I don't think Tony Khan really wants to make himself an on-screen figure.
Yeah,
and I think he would be terrible at it also. Yes. I love Tony Khan, but acting is not his strong suit, no.
He's really good at acting like a deer in the headlights.
I don't think that's acting.
Well, no, but then remember when we saw him not on television, but at Dynamite, and he was like a normal person, like hyping up the crowd?
Yes.
It was so odd. Well, here, I'm going to go back to your first initial idea and tell you all the reasons I think it's wrong. So the Moxley Shane McMahon thing, it doesn't make sense because when Moxley says that it's not about him, it's about something bigger, I took that as it's about saving AEW from itself. Like, this is where it started, and that idea in some people's minds, at least on the internet, it has like derailed and gone off in a direction that wasn't the original intent of the company. And so when Moxley said that it's about something bigger than himself as like an individual, that's what I took it as. Not as it's bigger than himself because it's about Shane McMahon. That doesn't make any sense to me. And also, like, with Moxley's new character especially, I don't see someone pulling his strings. Like, the way he's coming across with his new persona, almost like how he's always come across, kind of, but more so recently, he doesn't give the impression of being a person whose strings are able to be pulled by anyone. So both of these suggestions of there being like a mastermind behind this outside of John Moxley, it just doesn't like ring true in my brain. It also doesn't explain what's up with that freaking briefcase. Like, what is in it? If you guys have any ideas and want to throw it in the chat, I have like no guesses. I have no guesses as to what is in that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I also don't really see what the end game is with this. Like, Moxley is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. We have Full Gear coming up in November. No one is kind of like stepping up to him because he's just like his mob squad, just like, I know it's normally mod squad, but they're like a mob, so I'm going with mob squad. They just like attack whoever comes near him. So who is going to challenge for this title? I'd like it to be Darby, but I don't think that that's going to happen. And I have another topic for us to talk about that kind of ties into this. Let's see. Oh, so you think it's a new title in that tiny briefcase?
Oh my god!
It seems too small to hold like an actual belt. Like it's a regular. It looks like like almost smaller than a regular size briefcase.
Oh, Eric Tate said is the new NWO coming. Oh, at first I thought it said NWA. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Eric said the new AEW title is that I couldn't hear it.
I was asking like if what they thought was in the briefcase.
Who's Christians?
What?
Oh, the
No,
briefcase. I'm sorry, that they're
Serena's
carrying around. I'm sorry.
Because it doesn't look big enough to hold a title to me anyway.
No.
Yeah.
It could be, as we're talking about, it could be like ownership papers.
You think Tony Khan's going to sign the company over to Moxley?
If they do the Shane McMahon thing, I think it could be some sort of, Shane McMahon has bought the company, or has bought shares in the company, or something. It's wrestling. Don't look at me like that.
I'm just thinking of like
any dumb thing can happen.
If that is what is happening, like the internet will implode.
Yeah, and it will get people talking.
Yeah, I don't think positively though.
It'll get eyes on the product.
Maybe it'll get some of those AEW haters to be like, oh, well, maybe it'll be good now because Shayna's here. So my thing that's like tying to this storyline, can I go ahead and...
Vince didn't like Shane, though. He was verbally abusive towards Shane. There's a bit of record about that. And speaking also about that other company...
Did you say Vince didn't like Shane?
Correct, yeah.
His own son?
Correct.
Oh.
Didn't seem to.
It's delightful.
Put him down a lot. Also speaking about that other company, there's another sexual lawsuit that came out, probably the most horrific wrestling sex story you ever heard, which is how Mel Phillips, I believe that was his name, Mel Phillips, courted, they used to hire young men to set up the WWF rings. This is like in the 80s. Set up the WWF rings and then go do whatever else. Get coffee, get booze, get this, get that for the wrestlers and stuff. And he would groom them and rape them and this and that and the other, allegedly. And this story has been around for a long time, but the people seemingly didn't want to come forth for whatever reason. And so now 5 of the 15 people the FBI believes this happened to, they're named in the lawsuit as John Does 1 through 5. They don't,
That's good.
They don't want to, release their names.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. But it is hard, in the U.S. you're supposed to be able to face your accuser. So I don't know if I'm for that. Anyways, the John Does 1 through 5 are suing the WWF and Vince McMahon and Lynn McMahon because they're saying, obviously, with this other alleged sexual assault, that they were complicit in such things happening in their company.
When that happens, they still face their accusers. It's just not announced publicly who their accusers are. Yeah. And the trial is like a closed trial. So they're still facing the people that are accusing them.
Okay.
Yeah. Now can I say the AEW thing I was going to say?
Okay.
Okay. So
Eric says Mill needs to go to prison. Yeah, if these things are true, yeah, definitely. For a while, for a long time. I mean, he's probably an old man at this point, so maybe for the rest of his life, yeah. Cut his nuts off. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's hard to follow cut his nuts off with something logical.
That was originally going to be the name of the show.
cut his nuts off.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with Moxley, I was talking about like right before you came back, about who would possibly face him, since they like demolish anyone that comes anywhere near him as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's going to be Orange Cassidy. But my question about where is this going is why is Orange Cassidy not stepping up? Like, even if he doesn't want to take a leadership role, why isn't he helping when the other faces are getting their shit kicked in?
He will. They're just waiting.
But what's the reason for that? Like, how do you present him as a face and as a good guy who's like turning a blind eye to this horrible shit that's happening in his company?
Well, he just doesn't, as part of his character. You're cutting your face off with your. Can you not see it there?
I just was not paying attention to the screen.
Well, that's why you should move it up and display more of yourself, like I do. See, nothing's cutting my head off here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyways, but yeah, so Orange Cassidy, I'm convinced it's coming. I mean, the thing is, part of his character is he doesn't care. He's too cool. He's above it all. But now his friends are getting beat up, and all the other AEW people are getting beat up, and he is like the biggest of the AEW originals. I would say. I mean, Moxley's an original, but I consider him one. But he was right after they began, so he's an original. But he's obviously on the bad guy side. So the biggest left is Jericho, and he's not going to be the face in this feud. And then the biggest left after that, who's an original and singles wrestlers, is probably Orange Cassidy. So I think it's just
Hangman.
Okay, he'd be right there with them. Yeah, but he's a heel right now.
Yeah,
so
I see.
Out of the faces,
I got you.
Orange Cassidy. Hey, there's Wolf. Yeah. So, as Wolf says, he may put it better than I was trying to. It says facing any member of the current BCC has changed him. Right. Yeah. So we're going to see Cassidy evolve into this, leader who didn't want to lead, but has had leadership thrust upon him. Someone like John F. Kennedy.
You worked that quote in like I asked you to. Do you remember me asking you that?
No.
Oh, it happened.
And Wolf said that's basically the reason. Yeah. So, right, like I said, they're showing us this transformation of Orange Cassidy and trying to evoke that, why isn't he doing more and this and that? Just like what happened with Sting and the NWO back in the day in WCW, and led from Sting being a surfer guy Sting
to the Crow?
To Crow Sting, where he was like, I'm done with, and this isn't what's going to happen with Cassidy, I don't think, but Crow Sting said, I'm done with both of you, fuck all this, and I'm just going to hang out in the rafters, the rest of the show, bye. And it was weird, but that's what happened. And then of course he was on WCW's side. He would come and beat the NWO with his baseball bat all the time. And that's what we're going to see out of Cassidy, except, no baseball bat, and I doubt he'll have Crow makeup on.
Okay, but like I get like not wanting to lead the charge, but what?
I was just saying, Wolf made another point of saying, especially since he's lost all of his old friends. Yeah, the best friends are gone,
But he's part of the conglomeration. They're a faction of good guys.
But it's a different now. It's not the same feeling as the best friends, It's not all about like sunshine and rainbows. It's a different kind of faction and a different kind of feeling. And he's in this new faction because all of his old friends are gone.
I just feel like you can't be on the good guy's side if there are people getting plastic bags put over their heads and you're not about to run out and help them. Like, how do you come across as a face if you're just like willing to let all this shit go down in the company you work for?
I agree. Yeah.
Like, even the women, like, why are the women not running out to help these people?
Yeah, I agree. You didn't used to see that. Like in the 80s NWA, the faces would become way higher thought of as faces because they ran in to help people.
Yeah.
The face was getting beat up. Ricky Steamboat would run out to beat up the bad guys because he was a face. That's what he needed to do was help his buddy, and it helps them both get over because brings the guy up a little to Steamboat's level, and reinforces that Steamboat's a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're doing this right. I'm just telling you how they're going to do it.
I see.
I'm not saying they're doing it the right way because I don't think they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think the faces do need to be running out and stopping this stuff, or at least trying to, because then it makes them look like they don't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, and NWA, like I said, they would do it. They'd have the guys run out in their street clothes. Because then it makes it look like, oh, they didn't expect this was happening. Here they come. That's.
Well, they did that. You pointed it out that they were in street clothes this past week.
But I mean, that's when it's the most exciting. That's part of what made NWA just did. They did everything great.
NWO.
NWA.
Oh.
In the 80s.
Oh,
like
sorry. Okay.
NWA, the Jim Crockett Promotions, Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, they just really knew how to do wrestling and how to get people over as heels and as faces. And if you haven't watched a lot of that stuff and you want to see some really good booking and where the stepstones of today's booking come from, look for it on the WWE Network. It's on there both as WCW, the early years of WCW, and it's on there under Mid-Atlantic, I think. NWA Mid-Atlantic might be on there under Jim Crockett Promotions. I cannot remember, but it's one or both of those things. So I would check it out.
We have about 8.5 minutes left. Do we want to do the last thing and then run down what's coming up?
Real quick. We gotta be real quick. Yeah. So what's the last thing?
The last thing is, did Jericho do the Dark Order claw when he was by-guysing? Who was he talking to?
By-guysing?
Yeah. Who was he talking to? He was doing a...
What show was it on?
It was on Dynamite, wasn't it?
I feel like it was on Dynamite.
It was an interview with Renee.
Yeah, I think it was Dynamite.
Like, responding to... Was it Briscoe? It was Briscoe. Yeah. Yep. And then he said, "Bye, Mark." That's what it was.
See your hand.
Yes, they can.
Nope.
Bye, Mark. Yes.
No, they can.
I see it. Anyway. He was doing the Dark Order claw as he waved. Like, was that to just be like I'm angry, so I'm going to wave like this? Or was that like, he's going to recruit the Dark Order?
I mean, it very, clearly was like
a claw.
Like a claw.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite enough that you would call it a Dark Order claw, but it was very close. It was a claw. Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, as I was saying, if it were anyone else, you could just think, oh, it's
accident?
An accident, a coincidence. But Jericho is very, very purposeful. He's very good at this. Like him or not, he's very good at what he does. And he's very, very purposeful at the things he does and the things he says as far as how they affect his character, how they affect the other people involved. That's why he's so good at what he does. He's a genius when it comes to wrestling, really. If you read about him and the things he's done, guy's brilliant. But so for him to do the claw and not think of the Dark Order in AEW doesn't seem right to me. Yeah. So it feels, and maybe we're going out on a limb here, but it feels like maybe they may be the next three to come sit at the learning tree. I mean, they've been losing all their goddamn matches for 2 fucking years. Maybe they could use some education too. It's not like everybody on the learning tree is losers. Big Bill's a fucking killer. He's been a tag team champion already. It's just Brian Keith has been, he's newer. And then you'd have the Dark Order, 3 guys who been okay, but lately, the last couple of years in AEW at least, they've been losers. So they need something to restart them. Well, and I feel like the learning tree could use some new members, and 3 new members would be great, and they'd be a nice established heel faction there.
There's some entertaining people, like John Silver and Evil Uno. No offense to Alex Reynolds, but he's just kind of there
without personality.
Yes, he doesn't have personality. At least none that's depicted on screen. But then after we talked about this originally, then Dark Order was who ran out to try and save Top Flight when they were getting the shit kicked out of them by the BCC. So are they staying faces? Or
I think that was just to set up that one match.
Oh,
the Dark Order title shot, and then they got their asses kicked too.
Yeah, I see.
I think that was just a short-term thing.
Yeah. All right. So many questions. Hopefully they will be answered in about 6 minutes. So Asa, do you want to run down what we have going on this week?
Yes, I do. Thanks. So usually we do a watch along of Dynamite, but I just we got stuff going on, and I feel terrible, honestly. And so we're not tonight. So we are going to be watching the show. We'll, if you watch our X accounts, which for me it's at No Bones Wrestling, at No Bones Wrestling with an R, and for her it's at K Fabulous 80, at K Fabulous 80. So watch our X accounts. We may post on X throughout the show. We may not. Who knows? I probably will. But we will be watching the shows, just not doing a watch along tonight. Friday, we'll be back with a vengeance. 7:55 p.m. We're doing a watch along of WCW Halloween Havoc. I've not yet announced the year, but I will announce it soon. Just watch our X account, and I will announce it soon. But 7:55 p.m. on YouTube, and I say that because you show up at 7:55. I'll run down the card, tell you what's going on. Let people get there because we're starting right at 8. And what happens is, I start the countdown. We get it all up it's on WWE Network under WCW.
On Peacock.
On Peacock, yes, thank you. Under WCW, Halloween Havoc, and then whatever year I pick. And then, I'll give a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press start. And then we press start. And so we're all queued up together, synced up, thank you. And talking to each other and all that. And it's going to be a good time. I love doing these. We did several last year. We've done how many this year? 1, 2?
2.
2 this year we've done.
And we're doing They Live. Sometime between now and Halloween, we're doing it.
Okay. We're going to watch along of They Live, apparently. Yeah, John Carpenter directed
Rowdy Piper.
Action horror movie with Keith David and Rowdy Piper. Excellent, yeah, excellent. Which is actually getting a theatrical re-release next month in the U.S. Yeah, I already told you this.
I forget things.
Anyway, so yeah, Friday 7:55. WCW Halloween Havoc watch along. Saturday we will do a watch along of Collision. 7:55. Show up here.
I might not. I have a robotics competition that day. It depends on what time it gets done.
I will be doing a watch along of Collision. 7:55. Be here. Or be square. That's square, but square.
That makes it sound like square and queer, which I know is not what you meant.
That's not what I meant. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, Saturday at 7:55, also AEW Collision watch along. And then, of course, Tuesday next week will be the Halloween edition of AEW Weekly, where we'll have some new segments for you, some spookily themed segments we have for you. It's going to be a good time if you enjoy Halloween or monsters or horror movies or any of that stuff.
And we'll be in costume.
And we'll be in costume, apparently.
I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out.
We'll be in some costume. So yeah, that's the 30th, the 29th. Next week we'll be back on Tuesday, the 29th. And then on the 30th is the Dynamite, the Fright Night Dynamite. And for that, we will definitely be in costume. And we'll be doing a watch along of that at 7:55. So yeah, just to run it down one more time, this week will be busier than we have been lately. Friday, 7:55, WCW Halloween Havoc watch along. And all of this is on YouTube. Only for the moment. We're on YouTube only for a little bit here. 7:55 is WCW Halloween Havoc watch along Friday. Saturday 7:55 AEW Collision watch along. Tuesday at 7, regular time. Tuesday at 7 AEW Weekly with a little Halloween theme to it. And then Wednesday at 7:55 AEW Dynamite Fright Night Dynamite watch along. So yeah, and I'm going to put that whole schedule, everything I just said, I'm going to put it on X. And as I said, watch our account on X tonight and Kay's account for possibly some live tweeting. And yeah, hope Dynamite is fun. I think it will be. We have several segments announced. I think it'll be story heavy again. Hook apparently is going to bring Taz's attacker to justice. We'll see that. And Moxley's faction is going to try to run roughshod still. We'll see if that gets built. And we got a couple of matches announced, but I'm going to let you go. I know you want to watch the show as much as we do.
And it starts in like 15 seconds.
Yeah. So
cool.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. And we'll see you on the internets.
Okay.
Bye.